the peer pressure that girls feel especially is so difficult. And when we try and talk at it and bring truth at it, all it does is go, oh, you didn't hear me. I'm hurting.
If you think that loving someone is controlling someone, then when they fight your control, you think they don't love you. And really, the art of love is freedom. And God is spirit, and where the spirit of the Lord is, there's freedom. And that is what you have to learn to govern in.
Go watch Wonder Woman and remind yourself how awesome you can be when you partner with love and the Holy Spirit. Hello and welcome to the Kylo Show. We are so happy to be here with you. Again, it's just super fun to have a change up a little bit from our normal way of doing things, and we're having fun in the process.
We are. It just feels more, I don't know, relevant, or I don't know. Everything feels relevant.
I have the Barbie theme song in my head connected. I don't know where, not the new Barbie movie, the Barbie movies that I had to watch a million times with my daughters as they grew up.
Okay.
Diamond Castle, any of you out there know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Sure.
But it's all about being connected.
Oh, good.
And I feel connected to our audience.
It is so much easier to just talk to somebody about their life than to think stuff up or read a question. Yeah. So I'm really grateful for the questions.
Totally. All right. Well, let's jump into those questions.
Okay.
Hi, Carolina. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
And nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us on the Kylo Show.
Nice to meet you too. No, I have already met you. Actually, I've been following you and did the course of kids and read the book.
Oh.
That I try to apply, but sometimes it's hard.
Sure. I get that. I feel the same way. Yeah. It is hard. It is work, but it's good stuff. So I hear you have a question for us.
Yes. So I am married to somebody that doesn't believe in Jesus yet, right? And so I have twin girls. They are 12 years old. And it's been difficult because until now I've been managed to go to church and, things like that. But now I don't want to go to church. And he's like the opposite of believing in God. Like I'm a atheist, you say? Like I don't, yeah. So my question is how you deal with that, because I don't want to force them to go to church or believe in God. By no means, God didn't do it with me. And I wasn't born in a Christian family. I just came to the Lord because he rescued me, right? Literally. So how do you manage that? I don't want to push boundaries. And my kids are suffering from, one of them especially, low self-esteem and thoughts like I'm fat, I'm not good enough, my sister is better, things like that, comparing herself to others. And I know the solution is Jesus, right? I know, but I can force nothing, and I feel helpless.
Right.
I feel literally helpless because I'm seeing my child suffering and ain't doing nothing for her. That's my question. What tool can I use?
Yeah. Well, I think about my own girls. They're older than yours, and they aren't twins. So that twin thing is, you have a copy of you who may look completely different. I can't imagine what that looks like as far as comparison. But my girls are as night and day as you can imagine in body structure and personality. They are so different. And I had to really come to the discovery of my approach to nurturing their insecurities. I had to change the game from one to the other. I couldn't apply the same thing. So they probably both have their own body image stuff going on, and one just looks louder than the other or has a different struggle or approach. So part of this is, how good are you at asking questions? Like, when you say that, what's going on? Why would you say that? What makes you believe that to be true? And instead of, because sometimes as moms, this is what we do. No, you're not. You're beautiful. You're stunning. Don't say that about yourself. You're so good. Don't do that. But baby, look at me. I'm your mother.
Yeah.
I'm your mother. I know more than anything. You're the most beautiful thing there. Don't say, am I hitting the target at all? Maybe this has happened once in your house.
Every mother does.
Every mother does, right? But that's not what they need from us in that moment. They need that, of course, in some layers, but not right there. Right there, they need us to have a bit of empathy, a bit of compassion, and the willingness to ask questions to pull out what's going on. Because maybe they don't really feel fat. Maybe they don't really feel like, they're whatever clothes they're wearing or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's they feel lonely. Maybe it's that they feel, I wish I was better at this, but I don't know how to do this. So I'm going to blame it on this. 12 years old, this level of preteen right here, the peer pressure that girls feel especially is so difficult. And when we try and talk at it and bring truth at it, all it does is go, oh, you didn't hear me. I'm hurting. So I would work on asking questions. Oh man, honey, that makes me so sad when you say that. What's going on? Why do you say that you feel fat? And it might be completely not related to her actual body. But your willingness to get some empathy into this space, to be present with her, because this is real pain for her. And that's the hard part at 12 is that you and I both know she's going to grow out of it. She's probably going to be a beautiful young woman. If she's anything like her mother that I'm looking at right here, she's probably going to be stunning. But she doesn't know this. All that she experiences is the hormones, all the swirl inside of her. And she needs you to see that and not dismiss it.
She drew a picture, quite a scary picture. In front of her granny and me. It was a picture of a girl, and it had scars. And then I thought, this is going bad.
And that's just she's trying to express what's going on. And this is why we ask questions. We lean in. I love bedtime for this reason, because in the quiet of the night, when everyone's kind of nestling down, I ask these questions. They're a little bit more tired. They're a little bit more vulnerable. I don't know. This has been my strategy. So that's where I would be practicing leaning in and asking questions around, how do you feel like you're doing with your friends? And so go back to like the first question you asked, which is like, how do I get them to youth group or to church? I loved when I walked away from the Lord, my parents said, we can go to church or you can go to youth group. Which one would you like to go to? So my options at 16 was I could go to a youth group or I could go to church, but not going anywhere wasn't one of the options. So that might be an option you put on the table. Do you want to go to youth group or do you want to go to church? I chose youth group because it felt like a better space than church. But I love youth leaders. Ben and I have on Imperfect Parenting, we have a podcast where we talk about spiritual leaders for our kids and youth and leaders specifically. That might be something to look at and just to listen to how we talk through the beautiful and wonderful asset that they get to be to our kids' lives, and not dismissing them or being intimidated by utilizing them. Because I think sometimes parents don't realize how phenomenal church youth leaders can be to our kids, especially when they're like, I don't know where I fit. I don't know how to go in. She might have to have a conversation with someone other than you, but sounds like you're doing everything that you know to do. But I would be looking at bringing empathy to this situation rather than trying to talk at her and convince her of something that she doesn't need convincing of. That she needs to feel seen and heard by her mom in this place where she's scared or sad.
And Carolina, I think the connection that you're most concerned about with right now isn't between her and Jesus. It's between her and you. And,
maybe.
Yeah. And your representation of the Holy Spirit and the way the Holy Spirit works is the Holy Spirit comes alongside. The Holy Spirit comforts, the Holy Spirit reminds, the Holy Spirit counsels. There's a role that she needs from you that is not driven by your fear, but it's driven by your love. And because control will happen because you're scared. You'll try to control her, and that will break your connection with her.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get rid of the fear, but because I was very wounded when I was little. You
Yeah.
know, I'm gonna say it here. I was raped since I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And you know, you build out all those fears, the Lord heals you and stuff like that. And I found myself, as you pointed out, acting out of fear.
Right.
Because I'm thinking, I don't want you to go through what the hell that I went through, because I
Absolutely.
rebelled and I left my house and became everything but good.
Yeah.
Right? Till Jesus rescue me, right?
Right.
So
And so you just don't want your past to play into their future. You very much want the presence of the Holy Spirit, the presence of God, to help architect their tomorrow. So really, this is a big trust exercise for you, because you're going to have to trust the Lord and not lean on your own understanding, but acknowledge Him in all your ways, and He will guide this situation. But you want to show up with the most concern about your connection with her, and that will lead her to understand the God of love that you're talking about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really helpful.
Carolina, I would lean into that. The counselors love, not fear. I mean, write it all over notes in your house is that I am choosing to have my counselor be love. That is what's leading me. I'm leaning on the Holy Spirit, and we are doing this together. And you become equipped with something different than what you've been equipping yourself before. So, I don't know, go watch Wonder Woman and remind yourself how awesome you can be when you partner with the, love and the Holy Spirit. Because I think that's just what I see being released over you, is that you are a warrior for your family.
Yep.
And that's the position that you need to take. So, but thank you so much for submitting your question and joining us on the Kylo Show. I really
and you kind of look like Wonder Woman too. I'm just saying.
I know she does. She's kind of got this Wonder Woman look about her. Thanks so much for joining us.
Okay.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Well, hard situation. I mean,
oh gosh, the decisions of your kids. I mean, throughout their whole life. I mean, it feels maybe more intense when they're adolescents, but it's just as intense when they're 3 and when they're 9 and when they're 29 and 39. You know, it's just, these decisions are, you just want the very best for your kids. And at some point, you know, I think when you become a parent, you live for your kids. I mean, I'm living for my grandkids now, meaning that everything I'm doing, I'm thinking about how to make their lives a better place.
Sure.
You know, but for a while, when you have just your children, you're thinking, how can I make their lives a better place? And, and it just shapes that. So when something threatens them, it's game on. Oh, you want the sharp end of me? This is how you get it. And just be sure not to point that at your kids. You know, point it at the enemy and at fear, and just do a good job controlling your freaking self.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, fear is a liar, right? And so if it can convince you that this lie is totally worth protecting, in the name of your kids. I mean, this is the part where the deceiver is the deceiver for a reason, because he deceives us into thinking that this is the right cause. This is the right mountain to die on. And this is what I'm going to do, until we get down this road a bit. And I realize, oh, I took the bait somewhere and I lost connection. And I am now even more scared. I don't know what to do, how to change this. So her desire, you know, Jesus is the answer. Yes, yes, yes. Get them to church. I get it. I get it. But their best way of ever showing up and having a relationship with Jesus is because they are so in love and they trust you to guide them towards him.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's an experience of your God by experiencing you. And you just cannot misrepresent God. Sometimes I think that when we have a lot of fear, we have a lot of trauma in our lives, and we're thinking that we want to protect our kids from it, but what we don't pick up is if you think that loving someone is controlling someone, then when they fight your control, you think they don't love you.
Sure.
And the bad news is that gets imparted to where your kids actually grow up thinking that love is control. So they're going to go do the same thing with their spouse and with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And really, the art of love is freedom. God is spirit, and where the spirit of the Lord is, there's freedom. And God is love. God is love. And so where the spirit of love is, there is freedom. And that is what you have to learn to govern in. Mm-hmm. And that's why there's so much emphasis on the connection, because you're really saying throughout their life, you're saying, follow me. Mm-hmm. And they have to decide as to whether they're going to or not,
Absolutely. I mean, I just had a client call, and she's early 20s and grew up in a pretty controlling, you obey, you do what we say, we ask. And she's experiencing freedom because she just moved out for the first time. And her parents don't know what to do with her choices, which are going to more spirit-filled church and a relationship from a guy from that. And so the options are come back and obey us in the name of love and connection, or never hear from us again. How is love and connection in the same sentence, or never hear from us again? I don't understand that, except for scared people are scared.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Scared people are crazy.
And it's back to I'm fueled by fear. I took the lie and I'm calling it love.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's just so damaging. Mm-hmm. And people who are being controlled. I mean, think about holding someone on the ground. How would you expect that person to behave?
Especially once you let them go. Bolting.
Yeah, but they would fight you. The whole time that you are trying to hold them down, they will fight you.
Yes.
Why? Because no one wants to be controlled.
Yeah. Well, I'm praying for Carolina that she lets the love win, and she, can, even be healed in some of those spots from her own upbringing, and be a beautiful example of loving courageously and being in love with Jesus, that she seems so very much in love with Jesus.
Yeah, she very much is in love with Jesus.
She's beautiful.
She's just in a new test of trust.
Yeah. Well.
Speaking of loving something.
This is where my dad loves to throw our sponsors for the Kylo Show, which is Pro-Life Coffee Roasters. If you didn't know that already, they are rooted in Ethiopia and have been for the last almost 20 years. And they work directly also with people in Ethiopia. They don't have a bunch of middlemen. They are about helping and supporting grow coffee well with the locals. And then they are just serving people that are like-minded, kingdom-oriented. They are finding people that love Jesus and love coffee.
And they're doing a great job.
They are doing a great job. So if you're interested in joining us with this great cup of coffee, go to prolifecoffeeroasters.com/Kylo and you'll get a little bit of a discount there. So we're going to jump into our next question though. Hello, Wendy.
Hey, how are you two?
We're doing good. It's good to see you again.
Doing good.
Yes.
I miss seeing some of our students, but you were back in the OG crowd, so it's been a while. But
Yeah.
I know Ben gets to see you a bit more, so I'm glad you're still connected and helping us advance whole healthy families. I know you're doing all sorts of fun things, so I so appreciate that and so excited that you're here with us on the Kylo Show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. So I heard you've got a question. We would love to hear it.
Yeah. So my son is going to be 23. He's moving back from Dallas, Texas to home, and then he'll be moving out with his friends. But I've noticed since college that it's harder to connect with him heart to heart. He's a C on the disc. He keeps a lot more things inside. And so my question was, how, this new phase, this new season of him being a young man and growing up, how do I still stay connected to him? Because there's less conversation and nothing deep. And I just don't know. I don't know how to navigate our relationship. Sometimes I feel awkward.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I still stay connected to his heart? And is it the season of, letting go? and what questions are I should not ask him? But how do I stay connected to his heart as he's grown up?
Totally. I mean, our oldest is just about to hit 19, and I'm thinking, we were talking at the table the other day, and it's like, I haven't given you a curfew since you've moved home, right? And she's like, no. I'm like, okay, good. That's good. I'm glad I haven't. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't accidentally do that. So, I mean, I'm in a similar boat. It's not my son, it's my daughter, but I think I'm working really hard to be aware that our relationship has changed in that you are not, I'm not here to manage permission, opportunity, and resources as my, because you're in my house living necessarily. She's home for the summer. She's here short term. My job is to develop a friendship with you and that we have a connection that looks like a friendship. I'm always going to be mom. I'm probably always going to get a call like, how did you make grandma's chicken broccoli casserole? I will always be that. I don't doubt that. But I want to be a friend in this season. Now I get to be your friend, where before I had to be your parent. I was the one managing the rules, the regulations, and the standards and this, and that. Now I'm entering that new phase. So I think that's what I'm super conscious of as I exchange things with her, is I'm trying to be mindful of when I start telling her what to do. I am trying to ask her a question. How would that work out for you if you did it that way? That's one way to do it. Mom, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
I'm going to stay quiet the rest of the time. Like that is how I'm trying to embrace as we are embarking on this. So I don't know. She's not a C, so she very much is talkative. She talks all the time, actually. She has no problem talking. But I would wonder how is your son experiencing you? Is he experiencing you as that mothering presence where you're checking up and asking those questions, or is he experiencing you asking to be a friend in his life?
So is it a fair question to ask him that? Say, hey, how are you experiencing me as a mom? Would that be a fair question to ask him?
Yeah, and you could even adjust it to, hey, our relationship is changing. And I don't want you to feel me as a nagging mom or the rule keeper. I want to become a friend and know you, know your interests. And
I like that.
I wasn't sure how you're experiencing me in that, because I do feel more distance and I want to be your friend, and I want to see you as an adult, and you to feel respected from me in that.
Okay, so I wish I could just record that, but I can listen to it again.
True.
It has been recorded. Yes. Wendy, I think do you have a nephew?
Yes, I do. I have 3 nephews.
Okay, so just imagine that you were building a relationship with your nephew, your sibling's adult child.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't come in as the mom as much as you would come in as a key shareholder in the success of the family. So you're moving much more in that direction as an adult friend of your adult child. And so I'm really trying to figure this nephew out. I am trying to, I know that he likes, he's an internal processor. He likes, he's more of an introvert, so he likes his recharge time, but at the same time he's into sports and he's on a team and he has all this outgo and this social thing, but he's super drained after it. He just will go home, take a nap after being around his friends forever, or he's like, his phone's been on FaceTime all day and it only, his battery's dead, so he's like, oh, he's got to go recharge that. What's his love language? How does this kid experience I love you?
Yeah, he's in words of affirmation and touch. But, yeah, those 2 are right there together.
Okay. And so that is, a big chunk of a young man is that I'm earning respect in the eyes of people who are important to me. I don't want to feel like a child in their presence. I want to feel like an adult in their presence. So this may be where you start to ask what he thinks, and this might be where you ask what he thinks the solution is, and or even what the problems are. And rather than spending very much of your great wisdom and experience and knowledge espousing what you think the answer is and what you think the problem is and what you think the solution is, you get really good at asking him questions and then just kind of nodding and going, huh, and then ask another question and he tells you and you go, huh, until he says, what do you think? And you go, and then you go, oh, well, I guess there's what I would think, or here's what I think the problem is, or here's what but it ties back into what I heard you say. So you're really trying to convey to him that he's doing a good job as a young man. He's doing a good job becoming a man. And maybe, touch the side of his face when you tell him, you're doing a good job, and, the whole goal really is friends choose each other. And this is the piece that most parents of adult children miss is I, for the longest time, actually believed you had to have a relationship with me. That's not true. They have to choose the relationship they have with you. And so just make yourself a desirable friend. Right.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you, Wendy.
I can listen to it again.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I love even the intentionality. I think the more I do, men and stuff, the need for a man to feel respected and, believed in. He's got all that in there. Even though you're his mom, he still has all that in there.
Yeah.
And it just increases the value of your relationship when he experiences that from you. So you are chasing that down. How do I become this place where you feel respected and believed in around me?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Both of you. That was great.
Thank you. Thanks, Wendy.
Thanks, Wendy.
Good to see you. Great question.
Okay, take care.
Bye. I wish we had more parents out there of adult kids who were asking these questions, man.
Yeah.
I may be out of a job a little bit in family coaching, but I totally would change that for healthy relationships. I would completely do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be great to work ourselves out of a job.
Oh yeah. I remember Delaney came home for Christmas this first round when she moved out and went to school. And she came back at Christmas time and she's on our bed. It's just funny. Again, she's not a C. She's very much the opposite. She's high I.
Yeah.
She's on our bed weeping, not really making a whole lot of sense as to why she's crying, because she is trying to get out through her sobs of tears, which I don't even know what provoked it, but Delaney's always been more emotional anyways. To Ben and I just want to know that I'm doing a good job and that you see me as an adult. And I was trying not to laugh a little bit in this moment because I'm thinking, I don't know what happened that has you in our room wondering this deep cry, but I love that she felt safe enough to just be so expressive and transparent here. And I said, of course, honey, we're so proud of you. I mean, look at you. I said, I had to get married and have somebody with me as soon as I turned 18. Like, I couldn't do it by myself. I decided to get married. You're way farther down the road than Daddy and I. Like, I said, I have lived alone for 2 weeks and then I was married. I said, look at you go, girl. I said, are we not saying that loud enough? I'm so sorry if we're not. And she said, no, I just need to know. Okay. But this tension between adult child and the parent, especially with the first one, you're like, can you do that? I don't know if you're allowed to do it like that. Are you you're allowed to just go and just disregard or
and then it's shocking that when they have a baby, the hospital lets them take it home. And you're like, what is going on? Yeah.
But to going through this experience with her, and there's lots of, she waits till last minute to do things. And I'm like, okay, if you were in my home, I'd be writing this completely different, but you're not in my home. And the quickest way for me to have you remove yourself from my level of influence and connection is to micromanage you, try and control you, and send you the message that I don't believe in you.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're their own worst critic. They have so many questions going on. They have so many unanswered problems. They have so many Mount Everest obstacles. They see all of that. So they don't need one more, hey, your shoe's untied and did you brush your teeth? They don't need one more of those. They really need you got this. I'm so proud of you. You're so much farther along than I was. You're doing a better job than I ever did. Keep going. You got this. They actually need to believe that the people that they often respect the most and even compare themselves to believe in them.
Yeah. And, the point of you had to have a relationship with me and now you're choosing to have a relationship with me. I mean, just even that awareness of saying that, like, I miss you. I want to hang out with you. I talked to her last night. I'm like, you've been working so much and you're here, but I feel like I haven't actually seen you here. And
she is working so
we
much.
should figure out, how do we do this? How do we get connected and actually spend intentional time? So, we were playing cards last night and that was our best space. And again, I think you are up against the world and you know it. So you don't need my critiquing for sure. And I'm just grateful that she sees us as such a place to pull on. And I think Wendy wants to be that for her son. And it's just such a beautiful space, as if our kids can experience us as a champion, respected and believed in, as they are looking at adulting.
Yeah.
Because it's real. It's new and hard. Who knew?
Totally.
Who knew all these things cost so much money?
Yeah. It's a whole new appreciation for being home.
Totally. I remember.
Look at all the free stuff here.
Delaney came home one time, looked in the pantry and said, there's thousands of dollars of stuff in there. I'm like, yeah, I guess so, with all the appliances and this and that. And She bought spices for something. She goes, this one spice was almost $10. Yep, it is. She goes, you have 3 of them. I'm like, well, it's probably because there's too many adults in this house.
Well, you should go sell 2 of them. Yeah. A little fundraiser.
Oh, that's true. Well, I hope all you parents out there of adult children that you are being that champion to your kids and increasing the levels of respect and believing in them, because that's what they need to hear. And that you're also chasing after the message that whole healthy families are going to save the world. But thank you so much for listening to us on The Kylo Show. We will see you next time. Thanks for listening to The Kylo Show. To submit a question, go to thekyloshow.com. Never miss an episode by subscribing to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the Loving on Purpose YouTube channel.
And don't forget, whole healthy families are going to save the world. See you next time.